watching your favorite program. This is Through It All. It's where we come and talk about healing, restoration, people that have gone through the journey of life, men and women of influence, people that are bringing change and transformation in our communities and in the entire world. So we come and share our lives, our testimonies, and I believe through this you will learn so much. So get ready, invite everybody, call everybody. Let's go through this journey together through it all. And tonight we are so blessed and privileged to have a servant of God that have traveled a long way to be with us and to share his life with us. And when you meet one man of influence, they are able to share so much more and open your world for so much. His name is Bishop Jackson Kingori, and he'll tell us more about his life and where he's coming from. But also together with us is Reverend Faith Ndungu, and I want her to greet us before we can hear from the bishop. So, Reverend Faith.
Thank you, Bishop. Good evening, our viewers. I'm excited to share your evening with you. And through it all, we know that God has brought us this far. And so I want to welcome you. I know you're going to be blessed, and I know you will receive a word that will carry you through this season that you're going through, or even a season in the future. And so welcome, and be blessed tonight. And we are excited to have Bishop Kingori with us. And Bishop, I want to say welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bishop Jackson, karibu. And please bring greetings to our viewers, and then we can share what we have for this evening.
Thank you so much, Bishop Peter and Reverend Faith. It is a great opportunity to be here today on this very important program of Through It All. My name's Bishop Jackson Kingori. You can call me Jackson Kingori. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And I am married, and we are blessed with 3 wonderful children and 2 grandkids. That tells you to be at that age. I've been through it all, a lot of things in life. And so I'm happy to be here. I don't know how much you want to know about me, but that's part of it. You can ask a question, and I'll be honest.
We will know what we can know. So thank you so much. It's a privilege to have you with us. And probably let's start from where, even in the Bible there is the beginning, the Genesis.
Yes.
Where did your journey begin? Everybody, has a Genesis. So tell us where you began growing up, where you were born, and all that.
My journey of life starts in a village called Wetima in sub-county of Othaya in the county of Nyeri district. I was born there, and I was raised there. I went for my primary school in that place of Othaya, and we were born in a family of 10. I would say maybe, 10, because my mother was 7 and my stepmom had 3 who we didn't get to know very well, but I still consider them a part of my family, so we were 10. Mm-hmm. And we were brought like any other average or below average children because my parents were not well up, they were strugglers. And to make it worse, I lost my mom at a very tender age of 11 years. Wow. I have a fake memory of that, but I know it's not more than 13 years old. And that was a very difficult time for me, because that's the time a child needs the nurture, the love, the care of a mother. And losing my mother kind of changed my whole world view. But anyway, I had a very good father who tried the best he could. Although he was a peasant farmer, he did all the best he could to make sure that we were educated with the help of my brothers. But it was a difficult time, I must admit, really difficult. That on several occasions I contemplated suicide. Wow. I didn't see the hope of living. And it's actually through those struggles that I got to know Jesus Christ as my personal Savior. Because that's the only place I had hope. I had the message of hope and consolation and comfort. And so the crisis drove me into knowing God, which became my anchor even today. But that's a brief history of my journey of where I started.
Quite a loaded one.
Yes.
Maybe before faith comes in, when you say below average, growing up, maybe you can elaborate a little bit. How was life? Is it like you had all you needed, enough food and clothing and everything, schooling? How was it?
When I say below average, I mean literally we were lacking. We didn't have any luxury, not anywhere close to luxury. How do I know that? I know that because we literally were competing for any meal with rats. Our home was rat invested.
Wow.
And I will never forget one day that I woke up in the morning and both my soles on my feet were totally eaten up by rats.
By rats?
Oh yeah. I mean, you could hear them talking in the granary. I mean,
I know what you mean.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
You can think they're actually talking.
Yeah, and running.
They're telling each other, oh, where could I hear? What I mean,
Yeah, and running through the mantle. I think the mantelpiece.
Yeah.
So it was very difficult because again, my father was not working. He was a peasant farmer. He was lying on a coffee plantation.
Yeah.
And he had these children he was trying to educate. So it was quite below average. Yeah.
And, I think what caught my attention is the issue of losing your mom, at that very, very early age. And that is usually an age of transition. A child between 12, 13, they're in transition to puberty and adolescence. And I can imagine how that would look like. Maybe you can just shed a little light in terms of, there are times I've found that when in families, somebody very close is lost, a parent or even a sibling, there are times people will not even tell, comfort the children or even think they need to counsel them. And I'm trying to think what was your understanding like at that point, that your mom has actually died? Were you able to understand what were the implications of that? Because that can help families also to know when those kind of things happen, what is going on with the child. And then that journey of you've lost your mom, it is quite a big crisis. And now your journey to actually receiving Christ. I would be interested to know through that journey.
When we had the news about my mom's death, I was self-denial. And during that period, I still didn't believe that mom had died until the lorry that was carrying her coffin came. And I saw the coffin, and then we were allowed to see her body. That is when reality about her death hit me. And I remember my brother tried to take us away to console us and to tell us, we're going to be with you through the journey. But there was that vacuum because sometimes it's quite emotional when I talk about it. Because my father and my mother lived a life that was somehow abusive. And so I grew up in that environment of seeing my mother being abused, being beaten. And she would take us at night and say, we have to go back to our grandmother at night. So when she passed away, it's like my whole world collapsed. And I couldn't understand who would be there for me when my dad comes home drunk. Although he loved us, but he would drink and he would get into a rage of anger. So it was very traumatic. I was very bright in school when my mom was there, but when she died, I was disillusioned, making me to repeat a class because of the whole effect. So really what happened is that our home is just next to the Anglican church. And so I would go to Sunday school, and after Sunday school they used to have these called Guatanero, these fellowships for the elderly. And I remember one woman invited me and said, would you mind to come and hear about God on a Wednesday fellowship? So I went to those fellowships, although I was a little boy. And I started hearing about God, about hope in God, about when you die, you're going to see your mother again. And I think that was the motivator of that I will see my mother after death if I love the Lord. And so at an early age, I think in class 7, I gave my life to the Lord, that time. As a kid, without knowing too much. Of course, like you mentioned, it was a development stage. I still struggled to disengage myself from other boys. But my encounter with Christ was at class 5 because of the fact I'll be able to see my mother again. Yes.
Just that hope.
Yes.
I just hope. It's interesting the way the Lord can call his children, and he calls people in very diverse ways. But praise the Lord. Here you are. having walked with the Lord from that time, and now you are grandfather. So that it's still amazing, the grace of God. Yes.
Wow. What a story.
I would say that I think also during that time, because of the loneliness, I took refuge in books. So I would really work very hard because I wanted to make sure that I have a good life that was different from the life we're living in my family.
So you're saying it is possible actually to start at a very low place in society and in life, but that can also be the driving force for somebody to make it in life. And there are many people, I think, who have that kind of a testimony, that they looked at the poverty in their home, I included, and decided this is not going to be my lot. And somebody turns to working hard. And I pray that somebody is listening and somebody is making that resolve that they will actually want to move from what their life has been and become better in life. Yeah.
Wow, what a story. I think what caught me also is when you said you lost hope. And in this program, we tried to come out and bring hope to somebody who is there right now. Because what you went through many years ago, somebody else could be there right now. We hear a lot of suicide, people losing hope, killing each other. We are in ministry, we help a lot of abandoned children and also children that have been neglected and abused and all that. So at what point, what really made you to get to that point where you felt now? Because committing suicide is not a thought for every day. It is somebody who has come to the end of the road where you feel there's no way out, let me go, I'm done. And then how did you turn around, and come back?
The thought of suicide was not more so to run away from problems for me. It was like an avenue to get where mom is. Yes. It was more like an avenue to get where mom is, because she's dead, and if you commit suicide, you die. And go to the other side. Okay. And I try to imagine different ways I'll commit suicide, either hanging myself on a tree or taking some coffee pesticide. But every time I try to actualize on it, it never happened. And I believe it's because God had a destiny upon my life. I couldn't see it that time. I couldn't see who I'll be today. But he was, he knew my life. Like the Bible says, our lives are engraved in the palm of his hands. He can see it. But like you mentioned, Bishop, I must say that mine is a real story of from rags to I don't say riches, I would say blessings who I am.
God's glory.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That's very encouraging to hear that somebody can come from down there where you have lost hope, poverty, lack, your mother is gone, and maybe staying a little bit, because I've met so many people in ministry who are not able to deal with grief and the loss. You know, personally, I have gone through that with a number of people, but maybe that's a story for another day. But for you, how would you, speak to somebody who is going through grief, and I've met people through, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, they're still grieving the person, and they're feeling like it's too much. They're always crying every time they remember them, every time. Even yesterday, we were talking with a family that lost their son, in very awkward circumstances. So what do you think, 2 or 3 things that would help that kind of a person that is going through the loss of a mother, father, brother, sister, all that, even a child?
Grief is real. The loss of a mother ranks among the top areas of pain and grief. You can lose a father, still feel the same, but the loss of a mother has a different way of affecting a child. Of course, the loss of a spouse or a child. But what I've learned over the years to deal with the grief is the utilization of a model I call the 3 A's. That is, number 1, accept that whatever has happened has happened. That your mom is gone and she will not come back again. And I know it's easy to say accept, but that acceptance sometimes is a gradual process. And then after you accept that whatever has happened, is make adjustments. What I'm saying, make adjustment in the sense that if you're used to getting that hug from your mom, or getting that smile from your mom, or getting that meal from your mom, start to make some internal adjustments that you not get that hug, you not get that smile, you not get the comfort. And start accepting that now, you've lost a mom or your dad. And the 3rd A is be willing to advance. So there are 3 A's: accept, adjust, and start now to move forward. Because if you don't move forward, you get stuck at that valley of anger, bitterness, sorrowfulness, and so you get stuck on that. You can't move. But once you start, once you go through those stages, then you'll be able to start to move forward and advance and realize. And over time, you realize, death is part of us, and nobody has control. Absolutely nobody has control. If we had control, people would be looking for money to substitute death. Unfortunately, nobody has a control. So those 3 A's, Bishop, have helped me to deal with the grief, even when I comfort or console people that I meet in the course of my counseling sessions, to walk through those stages of accept, adjustment, and advance. Yes.
And I really love that what you've brought out, the acceptance, because at some point actually people accept, but then adjusting and advancing. Some people really get stuck there. Adjusting to know there are things that used to happen and they will not happen. That's part of adjusting. That how is my life now gonna be like? If this person was feeling this space, then they are not there, and so that space needs to be filled in one way or another. If there were roles they were playing, we need to be able to know how we play those roles, and then advancing. There are times people get really stuck and decide, I'm not moving forward, and they no longer want to even enjoy life anymore. They almost feel guilty when they smile, when they laugh. So thank you so much for bringing that out. Through it all, God has brought you this far. Yes.
That's amazing. And after going through poverty, loss of a mother, a lot of challenges, now who is Jackson today? I mean, because that's the next now part of the making of, a great man of influence. So who is Jackson today? Where are you in life?
I would say the Jackson that you see today is one that has gone through refinement. Is one who have been able to rediscover who he is, and one who, by the grace of God, has been lifted up from those valleys of pain and sorrow and grief, to the point that now I can use those experiences to impact on somebody else who is going through the same, and to let them know that there is hope in God. And the fact that you're struggling today does not mean you struggle tomorrow.
That's right.
As long as you're focused, you're working hard, and you have faith in God. That is the Jackson I am today, and I want to say that by the grace of God, I am blessed. I learned a lot of lessons during that phase of my life that became like an anchor to push me to the next level. So all was not lost.
Yeah.
All was not lost. I gained a lot of immense experience from it.
Yeah. So you ended up, going to school, high school, college, and what did you do in your early life before even, maybe getting married? You had a job, or what choice of career did you have?
My life is quite checkered. Let me go a little bit backward to what Reverend Faith talked about, the process of adjusting. One of the default things that happened to me is because when my mom passed away and she was the anchor of love, it put me in a very unconscious search of someone who can love me. You see? And had I not been a Christian, or had I not been within the environment of other Christians, I would have made bladders, because people would I was vulnerable. And people would use that point of vulnerability either to give me false love or to show me false love. But how I was able to jump that loop is by the grace of God. That I did not mess, as it were, but every opportunity was there to mess. But I think, again, because of God's destiny in my life, He kind of protected me from falling into those bad heads or bad laps. Yes, again, through the struggles of my father, he was able to take me through when I did my examination of 37 KCP that time. It was CPE. It was CPE, yes. It was CPE. KCP was much later. Yes, it was CPE.
Yeah.
I passed very well.
Okay.
Another tragedy hit. I was admitted in Thick High School. And my father did not have school fees. That time, people were stealing other people's names and going to the same school. I don't know how they were doing it. So someone took my spot in Thick High.
Oh, what do you mean?
Yes. It used to happen.
You were admitted in Thick High School?
Yes, I was admitted in Thick High School.
And now somebody takes your spot?
Yes. So going there, I was told, your name is not here.
And you already have your letter of
and already at the DEO's office, I'd say that I admitted in Thick High School. So I also again left stranded without knowing what do I do. And my brother who was working in Nairobi was so kind enough because he came and said, you go with me to Nairobi. And so I came with him to Nairobi.
Okay, let's hold it there. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll hear what happened. Did he go to school or what happened? So, all right, what a story. Join us after this break.